So hey guys, how have you been? Hope it's all good. Here we are again, one more video. This time we have a leg day with my good friend Mr. Stanislav Stokov. I hope the pronunciation is correct. Anyways, this is not related to the 90 days challenge, but I wanted to show you because it was a really good training. I spoke to him before and it was really worth showing it to all of you. And I had a dilemma whether to make a short video here to get more views or to make something longer with more technical explanations. So here goes for you 28 minutes and almost 30 seconds full of technical explanations. Okay, so I'm going to give you an insight of the head of a trainer, exactly what I thought about in his training, because the situation was, I know Stan for some time already, but we never trained together. This was a birthday gift that another friend of ours made to him. I didn't know, I had no idea how his body would respond and everything, so there comes my first concern. First place, injuries, any kinds of limitations he might have, any kind of condition like high blood pressure, for example. Okay, I had to pay attention to all of these. After we spoke about everything, I told him, listen man, I will try to make today in the training as many different kinds of stimuli as possible. We're gonna do the one leg training, Brazilian style, okay? So that's what we did here. So let's get to business. I will start explaining you what's going on right now, okay? This is just our warm-up, all right? This is the first warm-up set. And you can see that you have been watching the video for some time already. You can see that he is doing a few reps, then he stops for some time, does a few reps, stops for some time. What we're doing here is, he did only 60 kilos, okay, which basically for him is nothing. He can go much heavier than that, but we're doing 10 reps, rest 10 seconds, 10 reps, 20 seconds, 10, 30 seconds, 10, 20 seconds, 10, 10 seconds, 10 reps again, okay? Why am I doing that? I want to exhaust his legs already before we go to the heavier weights, okay? But Bryan, why so? As I told you, I don't know him. I don't know how he would behave. His training is actually, he doesn't train bodybuilding style, okay? So his training has nothing to do with the kind of training that I do. I don't know how he's going to respond to my kind of training, having some 100, 120 kilos on his back. So what do? We cause a huge metabolic stress it's for injury prevention. In the end of the day, it's just injury prevention. What people have to understand is, bodybuilding, if you want to build muscle, okay, it's not about the weights that you lift. It's about, this one sentence, I really like to use it. It's not about the weights that you lift, it's about what you do with the weights that you lift, okay? Lifting 500 kilos for one repetition in bodybuilding, it doesn't help. You're gonna be a hell of a power lifter, a hell of a strongman, but you will not necessarily be a good bodybuilder, okay? So as you can see, he's already starting to struggle a little bit. We're coming to the end of this warm-up set, and coincidentally this was a lucky shot. I calculated the weights that he would use and he failed exactly on the last repetition of the last set. So it was like perfect. If we would have put 2 kilos more there, it wouldn't have been so perfect. Okay, so now I think he has 1 or 2 sets of 10 repetitions left. And after that, of course, as I told you, the metabolic stress on the legs is extremely high. And another thing I want you to notice also, that he's controlling okay, the eccentric phase of the movement, the negative phase of the movement, when he's going down, he's doing it in 3 seconds. Why so? We are just manipulating time under tension, okay? Everything adds up to building, as I told you, metabolic stress, okay? Keeping the muscles under tension. What my first objective with this training was to keep his muscles under tension for as long as possible. So if we are going to do a 1 hour training, I want to keep his muscles under tension for 40 minutes, not the other way around, okay? So here we go. This is our first working set. He's doing it with 90 kilos, which is still light for him. Sorry, but he did, I think he failed on the 8th rep. So in this set we didn't do any forced reps, anything, no technique, we just went to regular failure. In the last rep, as you saw right now, I gave him a little tip to finish the movement, but that was it. Now we are in the second set, still with 90 kilos. And then I told him before the set, Stan, now we're gonna force 2 repetitions, meaning he's going to control the descent, the negative part of the movement, and I would help him on the way up, okay? If you have a training partner, or even if you are a trainer, I see a lot of people doing it wrong, okay? Guys, the help, the spotting on the squat is on around the waist, on the last ribs, okay? I have seen trainers spotting people with the hands on the bar, just like I grabbed right now. You don't do that, okay? I don't know about you, I can't do a bicep curl with 90 kilos. So if the guy makes a mistake, if he can't come up, you won't be able to help the person up. The help is always on the last ribs, okay? Now here we go. This is the last working set. Now it's the quote heavyweights quote part of the exercise, because we have there 97 kilos, which is also nothing for him. Before the trainer, I spoke to him, I asked him, Stan, how much can you do squats for 10 reps? Just so I have a notion. He told me, Bryan, 110, 112. So we are 10, 12, maybe 15 kilos under his max, okay? And he completed non-stop only 6 reps without help. So you can imagine the amount of stress he already had in the muscles before that. And here we are doing a cluster set, okay? So he will go to failure, rest 10 seconds, go to failure again, rest 10 seconds, and then go to failure again. Repeat the process until you can get only 1 rep. This is his last one. You can see the struggle already. I'm not helping him, okay? He did it alone, but it was absolutely hard. Now you can see, that's why I didn't cut the video. You can see the reaction. This is how he was after our first exercise already, okay? Moving on, second exercise, leg press. We're going to do another kind of stimulus here. It's called isometric stimulus, okay? Also to bring more stress to the muscles and to increase time under tension. You'll see that he completes 5 reps. Then I'm gonna ask him to hold and control the weights for 10 seconds isometrically. He made a mistake right now. Yeah, he didn't understand. Of course, it happens, but 10 seconds and then complete 10 more reps. You will see that in one point, I have to put my hand behind his knees because it's normal. You are just under so much pain that you will try to lock your knees just to relax the quadriceps. That's when the trainer has to stop the trainee and tell them, listen, you don't go further from here, otherwise, first of all, you lose the stimulus of the exercise, and in second place, you can also get an injury. Although we didn't have much weights there, we had only 160, and in the end you will see that it was also heavy. Okay, the stress was so high in his legs that 160 was heavy for him. So I had to take one plate off in the third set. So we did first set 5 repetitions, 10 seconds controlling isometry plus 10 repetitions. We rested for 30 seconds. Now the second one, he's gonna control 10 seconds at 90 degrees. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, plus 10 repetitions. You can see him. How do you know when a person is about to reach failure? When the concentric part of the movement, okay, in this situation on the leg press, when he's pushing the weights up, you can notice that the movement starts getting slower, powerless. Okay, you see that the person can't complete the movement with the same speed they were doing before. It's getting extremely hard already, the muscles are fatiguing, so that's when you're starting to get closer to failure. Okay, now you'll see I had to take one plate off. That's what I'm doing right now, and sorry, we're gonna do another 30 seconds rest, and we're going to the last set, which was supposed to be like the first one, 5 repetitions, 10 seconds, 10 repetitions, but you'll see that we got to one point of metabolic stress in his muscles that he just couldn't complete. Okay, he stayed. We finished with 5 repetitions in the end. So you see right now 1, 2. This is the first part. He's going to complete 5 reps. Hold the weights for 10 seconds. On the 5th rep, his legs just totally gave up. He couldn't do anything anymore. Okay, so we didn't have any choice. We had to stop the exercise, of course, because there was no point anymore. The muscles, they were totally fatigued already. I'm starting to have to help him on the way up. See? So legs are giving in. We went even a little bit beyond failure already, okay, which is what we call the principle of forced repetitions. Okay, this is also a great way to stimulate growth in the muscles, what we call hypertrophy. Okay, and one more thing before I forget, he had a close, narrow stance in the leg press. Okay, now we are moving to the seated hack squat. First place, this is not a seated leg press, okay? There's a difference between them. On the leg press, the gravity center of the machine is moving in time and space. On the hack squat, your gravity center, which is under your belly button, it's your gravity center moving in time and space, as you can see there, okay? So it's his body, it's his torso going up and down. On the leg press that we were doing before, it's the platform of the machine moving up and down. That's the difference, okay? There are more differences, but it's too technical stuff, not worth mentioning here. Anyways, in this exercise, we did the tensional part of the training, meaning heavier weights. Okay, you can see that he's using sumo stance, all right, and there's actually nothing really special here. He was just struggling, as you can see right now, to get off. We were alternating the machine with another guy, and now you see we're gonna do only 2 sets because we did 4 sets of squats, 3 sets of leg press. We're going to do 2 sets of the seated hack squat. Okay, I just put his platform a little bit lower so he would have a little bit bigger range of motion, and nothing special here, no special technique. I just took him to failure. Okay, Stan was completely exhausted, still pushing, still trying to hang on and to finish the training. But at this time I could see his eyesight was blacking out already. He had some headache, which happens, okay guys, it happens, it's normal because the stress is just extremely big. It was just a little bit high blood pressure. After the training it goes away. Okay, now we did leg extensions. I like this machine because the mechanics of the machine will place bigger stress in the muscles at the peak of the contraction, which is something that it's impossible to do on the squats, on the leg press, and on the seated hack squat. Okay, just because if you extend your legs, you will lock your knees and lose the tension. It doesn't happen here. Okay, the hardest part of the movement is exactly at the top, at the lockout of the knees. And we did only 2 sets as well because he was totally done. As you can see, we did a drop set. He even made a funny comment. Those were the heaviest 20 kilos of his life. Because of this, the stress was huge already. Okay, then we're going to rest, I think 30 seconds as well. And in the last set of the leg extensions, then you will see what we did there. It was just a finisher, let's put it this way. We did the same drop set with the same weights, 20 kilos, then I dropped to 10 kilos, okay? And then we did the eccentric failure, okay? Eccentric failure, you will see right away what it means. I was basically pushing the weights down, and I told him to fight me, so he had to resist for more or less 6 seconds on the weight. Then you'll see it's his 3rd repetition, 4th. I think he's going to do 8 with these weights. Then we're gonna take some weights off, do the drop set, and then you will finally see the eccentric failure technique, which is one kind of technique, guys, that I wouldn't recommend you to use it every training. Okay, I would recommend you to use it for some time, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then you stop using it because it's extremely intense. Okay, I'm not talking about emphasizing the negative portion of the movement. You always have to do that, keep the negative under control. But what I mean is eccentric failure. Eccentric failure, it's this what I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm pushing his legs down, yes, then I'm gonna help him up. He doesn't have to do anything on the way up. You shouldn't do this every training, okay? You can make a very bad injury because your body just won't recover properly from so much stress. Okay, this is extremely intense. You can see his toes, they were shaking in the end. Okay, and there we are, we finished quadriceps. It was more or less counting the warm-up and everything. We trained quadriceps in 30-35 minutes, more or less. Then I gave him a few minutes to rest before we would proceed to hamstrings. Okay, so we did basics, nothing to invent. If I'm not mistaken, we're gonna see in the video, but if I'm not mistaken, we did a drop set. Okay, started heavy, dropped the weights, and then it was a superset. We made a superset in this exercise with the stiff-legged deadlift with dumbbells. So you will see very soon he's holding isometry. I had forgotten that. We made some isometric contraction as well, and after the drop set. So he's gonna go to failure right now. And again, these on the hamstrings, unless you have to emphasize the hamstrings in your training, maybe your hamstrings are lagging a little bit, then I would recommend you to start the training with the hamstrings. If your legs are in good proportion already and everything, then you can finish with hamstrings, and you don't need to do many exercises for them, because during the squats, the leg press, especially if you do them in a full range of motion, your hamstrings will be activated already. They will be stabilizing the exercise. Now you saw that I did one correction. I'm placing my hand on his hips, okay? Yes, because this movement, the stiff-legged deadlift or Romanian deadlift, you have to start the movement by literally pushing your hips backwards. Try to concentrate all your body weight on the heels, okay? And on the movement to come up, you have to focus on bringing your hips close to the barbell or to the dumbbells, which is what we had in hands, okay? Now that's another technique that we're doing here. I made that one as the first superset. It was a pre-exhaustion, okay, for this technique right now. Why? Injury prevention, again, okay? I don't know him, I don't know his capacity, I don't know how much he trained on the last days, I don't know how much he rested. So for me it would be even irresponsible to make a training with the guy using extremely heavy weights, okay? It might have been effective, yes, might have been effective, and maybe nothing would happen, but I prefer to stay on the safe side of the bridge, okay? Especially for hamstrings. Hamstrings are a muscle group that you can easily make a serious injury there. So it's always better to be cautious, okay? When I'm training myself, then I know my limits. I know how much rest I had on the last days, how hard I can push, so for me it's easy to manipulate my own training. But when it comes to someone else, especially someone like Stan, that we never really trained together before, it's always good to back down a little bit. But still, I put weights there that he would normally do 8 to 10 reps. And what we are doing is we are doing 10 sets of 3 repetitions with 15 seconds rest between them. But Bryan, 3 repetitions only? Yes. I'm gonna explain you one thing. Let's imagine, for example, that I would tell him to do, for example, 3 sets of 10 repetitions, okay? Then he goes to failure, he would need to rest 1 minute and a half. To failure again, 10 repetitions, 1 minute and a half. Then to failure again, another minute and a half. We would take more or less 6 minutes to do 30 repetitions, okay? Using this technique, we did the same 30 repetitions in 3 minutes and a half, more or less. So I'm just making the training more efficient. That's all that I'm doing, okay? You see? So it's all about manipulating the variables of the training. Time under tension, the rest, the loads, okay? It's very simple after you have acquired some practice already. So now, here we go. Third and last set. We're going to do another drop set, and it will be also a superset with the stiff-legged deadlift. Why? As I told you, the amount of stress in his body was already huge. His lips, they were a little bit white already. He was sweating too much. Even his face showed already that it was enough. You know, his body, CNS, etc., just couldn't take much more. So a trainer has to have this sensibility to know when it's time to stop. And for us, this was the time. Less push, only 3 sets of hamstrings. There's no problem, because also there were 3 extremely intense sets. So we did the first part heavier, okay? Then we made 1 drop set, all right? And then we dropped the load again. And what we are doing right now is we're doing the concentric part of the movement when he's pulling it down in 6 seconds, super slow. So it's another different kind of stimuli in only one training. So as you can see, we did through the whole training, we did heavy weights, we did light weights, we are doing right now super slow, we did rest pauses, we did drop sets, we did isometry, okay, we did narrow stance, we did wide stance, we did regular stance on the squats, we did full range of motion in all the exercises. We emphasized the peak of the contraction with the leg extensions, okay? So just using basic exercises, we did almost everything that you can do in the same training. So the training was very complete. As I said before, when it comes to muscle hypertrophy, what matters, what counts is stress, okay? Remember that. So it's not about how much weights you lift, it's about what you do with the weights that you lift, all right? So we are finishing here, guys, again with the stiff leg deadlift. I want you to just enjoy the movement and enjoy this finish of training. I hope you liked all the explanations, okay? If you have, of course, any doubts, if you would like to ask, if you would like to leave your comments and everything, feel free to do it, feel free to get in touch, okay? Have a nice day, nice trainings, take care, and see you all soon. Now you can thank Kathleen for the gift.
Thank you, Kathleen. I'll pay you back.